In a small, close-knit town nestled between rolling hills and lush greenery, there was a public school where everyone knew each other's names. It was a place where the line between teacher and parent often blurred, especially when it came to one man, Mark. A gentle middle-aged teacher, Mark was the kind of man who wore his heart on his sleeve. He wasn't just a teacher in the traditional sense. He was a father figure, a mentor, and sometimes a lifesaver for his students. From the moment he started teaching, Mark understood that education was about more than just academics. It was about nurturing the soul, supporting the child's emotional well-being, and providing them with a safe, stable environment. To Mark, each child was unique, with their own challenges, dreams, and struggles. It wasn't just about making sure they passed their tests. It was about making sure they felt seen, heard, and cared for. One of the things that quickly caught Mark's attention was that some students, despite their bright minds and enthusiasm for learning, would come to school without lunch. While some students went off to the cafeteria, others stayed behind, pretending to be too busy or disinterested in eating. Mark soon realized the heartbreaking truth. These children either didn't have enough to eat at home or were too embarrassed to ask for help. His heart ached for them. He couldn't bear the thought of a child going hungry under his watch. So Mark started a quiet tradition of his own. He would pack an extra sandwich, fruit, or a granola bar daily in his lunch bag. If he noticed a student hadn't brought lunch or wasn't going to the cafeteria, he would comment lightheartedly about how he packed too much food and offered it to them. The students appreciated his subtlety and kindness, accepting the food without feeling ashamed. This simple act of kindness became a routine for Mark. His classroom became a sanctuary, a place where students knew they could count on him for more than just lessons in math or history. Mark's extra food wasn't just about filling empty stomachs. It offered comfort, security, and a sense of belonging to children who might not have had that anywhere else. As the years went by, Mark's reputation as a caring, fatherly teacher grew. Parents knew they could trust him with their children, and students would confide in him with problems they couldn't share with anyone else. He was a pillar of the school, and his compassion touched everyone he encountered. That was until Karen arrived. Karen was a new teacher, fresh out of a prestigious education program. Young and ambitious, she saw her career as a ladder to climb. From the moment she stepped into the school, Karen had one goal: to make a name for herself. She dressed sharply, gave crisp lessons, and maintained strict discipline in her classroom. But something was missing. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't form the same connection with the students that Mark had. Students who were chatty and engaged in Mark's class were distant and silent in hers. They would often compare her to Mark, speaking of his warmth, his humor, and his understanding. She couldn't stand it. In her eyes, Mark's approach to teaching was too lenient and too personal. To her, a teacher was an authority figure, not a friend or a caretaker. She began to harbor resentment toward him, convinced that his popularity was undeserved. As Karen observed Mark's interactions with students, her jealousy grew. She saw him offering food to students and chatting with them in the hallway, and instead of seeing the kindness behind his actions, she saw it as unprofessional and inappropriate. To Karen, there was a clear line between teacher and student, and she believed Mark had crossed it. Determined to prove herself and cement her place in the school, Karen decided to take action. Without speaking to Mark directly or trying to understand the situation, she went to the school administration and filed a formal complaint. She claimed that Mark's interactions with the students were unprofessional and potentially inappropriate. She twisted his acts of kindness, making it sound as if he were getting too involved in the students' personal lives. The administration, bound by procedure, had no choice but to take the complaint seriously. They launched an investigation into Mark's behavior, asking him to step back from his usual routines while they conducted interviews with students, parents, and other staff members. When Mark was called into the principal's office and informed of the investigation, he was shocked. He couldn't believe that someone would see his actions as anything other than what they were: small acts of kindness. He tried to explain himself, but the principal, while sympathetic, was bound by policy, books, and lesson plans. It's about recognizing the needs of the whole child and being there for them when they need it most. Despite the challenges and false accusations he faced, Mark's dedication to his students never wavered. In the end, his kindness triumphed, proving that love and care will always prevail, even in the face of adversity. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.